Your trucking career. 5 things you should definitely consider before you even begin. If you're new to the channel, it's your first time being here. My name is Maurice Bay. The name of the channel is The Helpful Trucker. The name of the channel is pretty much self-explanatory. I like to create helpful trucking content. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why you need to be thinking about your exit strategy in trucking from day one when you first get in. These are things that you definitely need to be considering and thinking about before you ever get in. And these are also things that a lot of us as truckers wait until 5 or 10 years or even 15 years down the road after we've been behind the wheel before we start thinking about. But I'm insisting that you think about these things from day one. Let's get right into it. In this video, I'm going to talk about why you need an exit strategy, why you need to be implementing an exit strategy in your trucking career from day one. But before we get into the content, first DOT inspection, family. See how this go. Tell you about to do a level 1? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna tell you, I just bought this truck from my dad. I just became the owner April the 1st. So I've been through a level 1 before, but it was always his truck. And he always been telling me, training for years, like, if you're gonna be out here, you got to be right, you got to be right. So it's my first level 1 as my truck. So let's see, I'm ready, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it go, man.
All right, here's your license, your load ticket, and your registration.
All right.
Here's a copy of the inspection. Nothing has to be signed or returned.
No violations, nothing to sign. Everything was good. Everything went good for my first inspection, man. He ain't did nothing but took up an hour of my damn time. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about why you need to be implementing an exit strategy for your trucking career from day one. Now, if you're a veteran truck driver, owner, operator, company driver, whatever, you're a veteran driver, you've been driving for 10 plus years. I want you to let me know down in the comments, how long were you driving a truck? How long were you an owner-operator before you asked yourself the question, how do I get out of this? What's my exit strategy? I was speaking to a truck driver yesterday. I don't want to go through his whole circumstance, but we were just discussing some stuff, and I asked him, I said, well, had you ever thought about that question before? He said no. He said he had never asked himself that question. He said that question had never really came across his mind in that way until I asked him that question. He said he had always just thought he was gonna be driving a truck. And now, even though he's up in age, he's still driving, but he's up in age and he's, wanting to get from behind the wheel. He loves trucking enough that he's still able to do it, but he's not doing it to get ahead. He's doing it to pay bills. He's doing it because he still has obligations that he has to handle, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as I was listening to him talk, I just was kind of caught up when he told me that he had never asked himself at any point in his trucking career, how does this end? How do I get from out of the truck? What is my exit strategy? And so I'm going to discuss that briefly in this video and give you 5 quick reasons. I got some notes here on my phone. So if you see me looking this way as opposed to this way in the camera, looking at my notes, I'll stay on track. But I'm first reason, not gonna wanna drive the truck forever, regardless of how much you love it, regardless of how much you say you love it. Because I do believe there's a lot of people that will try to mask the fact that they have to do this, and they'll just say, I love doing it, okay? But you're not gonna wanna do this forever. Trucking is it's a taxing profession. People will say, all you'll do is drive a truck. Driving a truck is not that difficult. But there's a lot more that we do than just drive a truck. And trucking is a bit physical, but it's also very mentally taxing with all of the things that you got to think about and factor in and consider throughout your day to make sure that you get home safe and everybody around you gets home safe as well, or at least if they don't, it ain't because of nothing that's your fault. Your chances are high you're not going to want to do this forever. That's the point of this first thing that I'm going to share with you, all right? And so because you're not going to want to do this forever, you need to be putting yourself in position where when that time comes, you have options, okay? you'll be doing a job out of having to do it and not getting any joy from it whatsoever. You'll do the same job out of a sense of wanting to do it and get all kinds of joy from it. So, you can be in trucking for 10 years and be at the position that you don't want to do it anymore, but you've been living your life, running your trucking business, managing your finances in a way where you can't just get out of it that easy. Difficult to find something else to replace the income that you've gotten accustomed to making in the truck. Now, you would say, well, yeah, that's a result of not doing the right things with my money, not planting seeds in other areas to make money from. But that's what I mean by having your exit strategy from day one, okay? You need to be thinking about how am I going to replace the income that I've gotten accustomed to making in the truck in a way that doesn't require me to go out and drive the truck. Because again, you're not going to want to do this forever. Again, I don't care how much you say you love it, okay? It's not an easy profession to do for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years. Every time I hear an old timer sound like they're bragging about how long they've been out on the road, I'm thinking to myself, kudos, you've been on the road for 20 years. Kudos, you've been on the road for 30 years. But that's not necessarily something to be bragging about. If you out on in other words, if you're out on the road for 25 years, you're like, I've been on the road for 25 years. Okay, good. Have you put yourself in a position where you don't have to do it anymore? Okay, or are you still doing it? Because as some truck drivers will say when you ask them, why are you still out here? And I got bills to pay, right? So, okay, kudos, you've been doing it for 25 years, but I would rather be a trucker that's only been out here for 5 years and have the option of not doing it anymore, as opposed to, right, like trying to get accolades or wanting to get a hand because you've been out here for 25 years. That's good, but it ain't that good if you haven't put yourself in a position where you don't have to be out here anymore. So that's the first one. Second reason why you need to be implementing your exit strategy from day one is to give yourself options. Here's the bottom line. You came to the trucking profession because you were seeking freedom. That's what I know about you, the individual that's watching the video right now. Sure, you came for the money. Sure, you came for security. But behind all of those things, there is a desire within you to pursue freedom. Okay, that's the reason why everybody comes to the trucking profession. There's a lot of other reasons why, but at its core, from the way I see it, that's one of the main reasons. Now, here's what you got to understand. You're not going to satisfy that desire to feel free. That's not going to come from getting a great rate per mile. That's not going to come from hooking up with the right company. That's not going to come from hooking up on a profitable run. Satisfying that feeling of freedom is not going to come from those things. It's going to come from you feeling like you have options and choices. I kind of grazed over this a little bit with the first one as I was discussing, why you're not going to want to do this forever. Okay, so you want to be putting yourself in a position where you have options. Most of us have come to a point at some point in our life where we're at what I call a crossroads. Do I continue or do I do something different? Okay, and at that point, even though an individual may have every different reason to do something different or not to do something different, they will continue to do what they're doing or do something different because they feel like they don't have any other choice. It's like, that's the only choice I have. There are truckers that feel, I just mentioned that a minute ago as well, there are people in our profession that's like, I don't have any other choice. I don't have any other choice. There are people in other professions that are doing it, on other jobs that are doing it because I feel like I don't have any other choice. There are people driving other people's trucks. It's like, I don't have any other choice. So you're never gonna feel free because you got hooked up with the right job, the right company, the right rate, none of that stuff. Feeling like you have options comes from how you live your life. A lot of it has to do with finances, how you manage your finances, making sure that you keep your debts manageable, making sure that you have a way to finance your lifestyle, your day-to-day, outside of driving the truck, so that if you get tired of doing it, you can stop if you want to. You can take a break. if you want to. But I got a feeling that if you get yourself in a position where trucking has given you options, I believe when I get to that point, I'm probably going to continue to drive the truck, right? So you want to put yourself in a position to give yourself options early in your career. Start implementing your exit strategy from day one. Reason number 3, your health. Kind of mentioned this a little while ago. Trucking can be taxing on your body, okay? I was telling my wife this morning, I was like, man, I really don't know how sustainable it is for me to keep up at the pace that I'm going right now. I've been driving a truck for the last 5 years. I've been doing wood chips for the last year. This is the 11th month, going into the 12th month right now that I've been doing, that I've been running wood chips. My day is about between a 10 and a 12-hour day, closer to a 10-hour day. I get started every morning early at about 4. I get done at every evening at about 3 or 4. Sometimes I work a little bit later because I'm doing a little bit more work. But you know, the point is, I've been doing that schedule for the last year. I've been doing 450 miles a day, pretty much every single day, 5 days a week for the last year. And I was telling my wife this morning, I'm like, man, I don't know if I can keep up that pace for 10 years, for 20 years. In other words, we have got to be diligently implementing my exit strategy, okay? To put myself in position where within hopefully the next 3 to 5 years, I don't have to run like I'm running right now. And I love money so much that at that point, I already said this, I'll probably continue to still want to run for the money. But when you're doing something because you want to do it, your energy level is totally different. Your attitude towards doing it is totally different. So your health, you have to consider that. Truckers are very unhealthy. And again, to be out here 10 years, not taking care of yourself, and then you're in a position where you feel like you can't get out of the truck, so you got to continue down this road. That's a result of not implementing your exit strategy, okay? From day one, you need to be thinking about this stuff. Number 4, your time. I mentioned this a little bit as well. I don't care what line of work you're doing or what kind, whether you're a company driver or owner-operator, one thing we all have in common, dump truck drivers don't matter, right? Like we out here, we putting in hours, we're putting in work. And so how long can you afford to be gone? I'm local, I get home every night, but I still feel like I'm gone. I still want to get myself in position as soon as possible where I can feel like I'm in more control of my own time. I can feel like I can have more control over my own time. Again, that's the thing that you can start planting the seeds to put yourself in position to own more of your time, to own more of your day. But you can only do that in trucking if you're implementing an exit strategy. If you think you're just gonna come out here, land the right job, make the right money, and in 10 years this is where you're gonna be automatically just because that's what happens to people that get in this profession, you got a rude awakening coming. So you gotta consider your health, you gotta consider your time. Those are 2 big reasons why you need to be implementing your exit strategy from day one. And the 5th one, your income after trucking. Like the older guy that I was talking to the other day that said he had never asked himself, what is his exit strategy? That person had never given thought to how I'm gonna earn income without getting in the truck and driving the truck. And so many people that come out here and start driving this truck do that exact same thing. That's why I asked the veterans to let me know down in the comments, how long were you driving before you came to the point of view where you were like, yo, what's my exit strategy? How does this end? How do I get out of this truck? Because hopefully you will have more life and vitality in you when you at the end of your trucking career. And so you gotta be considering your income once you stop trucking. And this is more for owner, operator, self-employed, more so than company drivers, because you company drivers are participating in retirement plans via your company. But as a owner operator, you may or may not be doing that. The individual that I'm thinking of, this is something that he did not put enough thought into, because he is at the age right now and he has been driving long enough now where his bills should be paid off. And if he's running he should be running because he wants to. And also, if he's running, when he gets his paycheck, 90% of it should be his. 75 or 80% of his paycheck, which is what he was telling me, okay, should not be owed out to bills at this point in his career. So you got to be thinking about that from day one as a truck driver. How do I replace the income that I've gotten accustomed to making in this truck? How do I replace that? How do I create another stream of income to match that doesn't include me driving the truck? You know, and discuss one more thing, and then I'm gonna close this video out, because we're kind of talking about the subject of retirement, even though I haven't mentioned that much. But you know, people retire from jobs that they don't want to do anymore. All right. So certain types of people in life, you don't hear them talking about retirement. So like a Donald Trump. Not that I'm a fan of his politics, but he is an individual. I ain't never heard Donald Trump mention anything about retirement. I ain't never heard Warren Buffett talk about retirement. That's because these people have skill sets, for one, that allow them to make money without exerting as much physical effort, because you ain't gonna be able to do it forever. I've said that before. So they have a skill set that allows them to be able to make money doing something that they can do in their 80s, and they also have assets that they've acquired. They've created income streams for themselves that allow them the independence and the freedom that we are looking for out here in this truck. And you don't have to be Donald Trump or Warren Buffett to do that for yourself. We don't have to do that. We just got to be thinking at all times like it looks fun while we out here, but ain't nobody out here to play, okay? The objective is financial freedom. And I want you to remember in closing that you're never going to get financial freedom is not going to come through the right gig, getting paid the best rate, hooking up with the right broker, hooking up on the right runs. That's not how financial freedom is going to come. Financial freedom is going to come in this profession from executing, from diligently executing on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, an exit strategy, a strategy that will allow you to be able to live, make money, and choose to not have to drive the truck in order to do it. Maurice Bay, the Helpful Trucker here. For more helpful CDL tips, go here or consider subscribing to my YouTube channel right here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but instead you chose to be here with me, and I really appreciate that.